Parents are generally expected to be good role models for their children, providing love, care, and guidance. However, there are instances when parents exhibit harmful behavior, putting their children in peril and leaving authorities to intervene. Let's delve deeper into these unsettling cases. First, let's revisit the case of Yahara Tato, 28 years old, and Jacob Kruger, 25 years old, which took place in 2019. A police officer approached them when their 2-year-old child was found wandering alone on a busy street. This discovery was deeply alarming. The child was not only unattended, but also covered in bed bugs and had a dirty diaper. The parents seemed indifferent to the situation, and the police officer immediately realized that this wasn't their first encounter with neglectful parenting. In 2018, officers had visited their home and arrested the mother for child neglect when she left her 1-year-old and 2-year-old home alone. Despite their previous encounter with law enforcement, these parents displayed a shocking level of neglect towards their child. In 2014, officers in a remote rural area received a tip from a concerned teacher who noticed a child's sudden withdrawal from school activities. When they visited the family's secluded farmhouse, they found a family of 5 living in extreme isolation. The parents had chosen a self-sustaining lifestyle, but had become increasingly detached from society. The children lacked proper education, health care, and social interaction. The parents were well-intentioned but had inadvertently placed their children at risk due to their isolationist approach. In this unique case, law enforcement had to strike a delicate balance between respecting the family's lifestyle choices and ensuring the children's welfare, which required intervention to provide them with access to necessary resources and services. Another case from 2018 involved a distressing situation where a woman and her 2 kids were found on the roof of a residence. The mother was in a highly agitated state, hallucinating and behaving erratically. Thankfully, officers were able to bring her and her children back inside the house. Subsequently, the mother was committed to a mental health facility under the Baker Act. This Florida law allows for the emergency provision of mental health services and temporary detention for individuals impaired by mental illness. It was a reminder of the complexities law enforcement faces when responding to such incidents. In 2023, yet another disconcerting incident unfolded. Tempest Isom was pulled over by the police for multiple motor vehicle violations. Her explanation for these infractions was her ex-boyfriend damaging her car, rendering it unfit for road use. This unusual predicament prompted her to flee from the officer, initiating a police chase, all while her 5-year-old child was in the back seat. The pursuit concluded with a crash, yet instead of attending to her child's well-being, she decided to run on foot. Law enforcement swiftly apprehended her and ensured the safety of her child. Subsequently, Tempest Isom was charged with aggravated assault on a law enforcement officer, resisting arrest, eluding the police, and endangering the welfare of a child, alongside numerous motor vehicle violations. Her situation highlighted the complexities of handling cases involving parents who not only endanger their children, but also engage in criminal behavior themselves. In 2020, a concerned neighbor called the police after hearing cries coming from the house next door. Upon arrival, officers found 2 siblings, ages 3 and 5, living in squalid conditions. The house was infested with rodents, and the children had been left unattended for days. They had been subsisting on scraps of food found in the trash. Their parents, struggling with substance abuse issues, had neglected their basic needs for an extended period. Child Protective Services was called in to ensure the children's safety and well-being. In 2021, a 911 call led officers to a heart-wrenching scene. A father, in a moment of carelessness, had left a bag of narcotics within easy reach of his curious 2-year-old. The child ingested a lethal dose of the substance, and despite the paramedics' best efforts, the child tragically succumbed to the overdose. The parents were arrested and charged with manslaughter due to their recklessness, highlighting the devastating consequences of drug-related neglect on young children. In the digital age, a new form of neglect has emerged. In 2022, a teenager's online activities raised suspicions among her virtual friends. Concerned for her well-being, they reported the situation to a school counselor, who, in turn, contacted the police. Upon investigation, it was discovered that the teenager's parents had essentially abandoned her, providing minimal care and leaving her to fend for herself. While the physical neglect was less obvious, the emotional neglect was severe. The teenager was taken into the custody of Child Protective Services, highlighting the importance of vigilance not only in the physical world but also in the digital realm. In 2017, police received a frantic call from a mother who had accidentally locked her 2-year-old child in a hot car. Temperatures were soaring and time was of the essence. The responding officers had to act swiftly to save the child from heat stroke. They managed to break the car window and safely extract the distressed toddler. While this case was an accident, it serves as a stark reminder of how quickly a child's life can be endangered even in seemingly safe situations. In 2019, a cybercrime unit working in conjunction with local law enforcement discovered a shocking case of online grooming. A parent had unknowingly allowed their teenager to become involved in an online relationship with an adult posing as a peer. The situation escalated to the point where the child agreed to meet the predator in person. Law enforcement intervened just in time to prevent a tragedy. This case underscores the importance of parental awareness of their children's online activities and the dangers of online predators. In 2020, officers were called to a residence where they found 2 children, aged 8 and 10, who had been left home alone for extended periods due to their parents' demanding work schedules. The children were responsible for their own meals, homework, and bedtime routines. While the parents had good intentions, their overwork led to a situation where their children were essentially parenting themselves. Child Protective Services was brought in to work with the family to find a more suitable arrangement that balanced both work and family life. In 2016, a concerned neighbor reported suspicious activities at a nearby residence. When officers arrived, they discovered a shocking scene. Inside the home, they found 2 infants, just a few months old, surrounded by drug paraphernalia and illicit substances. The parents were incapacitated due to substance abuse. It was a dire situation, highlighting the devastating impact of addiction on parenting. Child Protective Services stepped in to ensure the infants received the care and protection they needed. In 2021, law enforcement was called to a chaotic scene at a custody exchange point. A bitter custody battle had escalated to a physical altercation between 2 parents, both vying for custody of their child. The child witnessed the altercation, causing emotional trauma. Officers had to de-escalate the situation and mediate the custody exchange while ensuring the child's well-being and safety. This case serves as a reminder of how parental disputes can harm children caught in the middle. In a small town in 2018, a rather unusual case unfolded. A couple was reported for neglecting their child, not out of malice, but because they were completely engrossed in an elaborate home-based business venture. Their obsession with their work led them to neglect their child's basic needs. It was a stark reminder that neglect can sometimes result from factors other than deliberate malintent. Law enforcement had to work with the parents to find a healthier work-life balance. These episodes emphasize the critical role that law enforcement officers play in ensuring child safety when parents fail to fulfill their fundamental duties. While these officers are committed to safeguarding children in distress, it's evident that there should be a more comprehensive approach to addressing these issues. Child neglect isn't merely a legal matter, it's a societal concern that necessitates education, awareness, and support systems to prevent such situations from occurring in the first place. The distressing cases of parental neglect and endangerment are stark reminders of the crucial role law enforcement plays in safeguarding the welfare of children. These incidents also illuminate the complexities and challenges involved in addressing such situations. These cases emphasize the need for more significant public awareness and education about the responsibilities of parenthood. Parenting is not only about providing for a child's basic needs, but also ensuring their safety and well-being. Law enforcement often becomes the last line of defense when these responsibilities are neglected. However, a more comprehensive approach is essential, involving mental health support, social services, and education to address the root causes of such issues and prevent them from recurring. In conclusion, the cases of Yahara Tato, Jacob Kruger, the distressed mother in 2018, Tempest Isom, and much more like these cases shed light on the diverse challenges law enforcement encounters when parents fail to meet their fundamental responsibilities. These situations demand a multifaceted response, combining legal consequences with mental health support and public awareness campaigns to ensure the safety and well-being of children. Law enforcement continues to play a pivotal role in protecting children when parental misconduct endangers their lives, making it vital for society to address these issues comprehensively.